Hello everybody. In today's video, we're going to be discussing part 2 of what EdTech companies should be thinking about for the 21-22 school year. Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Leena Saleh, the Edtech Guru, where we are disrupting EdTech and education. All right, let's do this. Are you an EdTech startup? Are you looking to have some hypergrowth or trying to figure out what to do? Well, this series is for you. Last series, we discussed about social media and what EdTech companies should be thinking about in regards to building up their social presence. Today, another thing that EdTech companies should be thinking about is what your website looks like. A lot of times when you go to a website, whether that's a restaurant's website, a retail space, anywhere in between, and most of all, visiting school websites, we can see there is a multitude of varieties of websites out, ones that are really great and ones that just really frankly are horrible. We've all been there trying to order some food, trying to figure out where the menu is. We're looking at a school site and trying to figure out how to contact a teacher. As an EdTech company though, this is your place to shine. The first time that somebody visits your website, you should be able to see your story quick in 3 to 5 seconds time frame. Anybody who visits your website should be able to quickly identify what you do and what product you're offering. Many times we get so bombarded by the different products that we offer that we forget to tell the story. It's a brand story. So if you sell a coding platform, I should be able to figure out that you offer K-8 coding curriculum pathway in a quick few minutes. I should figure out how to acquire pricing and how to sign up for a trial, some kind of call to action on every single page and multiple times throughout the page. There are some really great examples of this and some really poor examples of this. But if you can quickly streamline your story and have no problem telling that story, then you're going to draw educators. It's one thing to do your social presence, and the next thing is to make sure that you're well represented within your website. You should have things like thought leadership, so how to, whatever your product is, other thing, how to implement this in a classroom, how teachers are using it. Because when an administrator comes to your website, they want to be able to see that you are doing multiple things and being able to make sure that you can, if they invest in you, that the students are going to show some kind of growth, the teachers are having a good experience. You need some kind of a leverage point for when they're visiting your website. Also, another thing is if you're collecting student information, you need to have it clearly laid out what your privacy policy is. I know every district, every school changes from one to another about what the privacy policy looks like, but you do need to make sure that you are COPA compliant and that you can represent the FERPA Act. Both of these I have discussed in other videos, so I'll share the link for you right here. Now, these are both important because a school district isn't going to be able to work with you in any capacity if you're not able to represent and show that you are following student data privacy. The FTC, as I mentioned before, came really heavy-handed, and during the 2021 school year, they came heavy-handed, really trying to show the gaps within EdTech companies and the data that they were collecting. And so that's why a lot of school districts have turned to using Clever or ClassLink or some kind of one rostering program. Another part where a lot of companies tend to falter and fail is that there needs to be some kind of accessible help center, whether they're help articles from simply setup to being able to maybe implement a lesson, a model lesson. Maybe it's a different way that you could use it, how you could use it in a remote setting, and how you could use your product at home, just the different variabilities to be able to have that, because teachers need to have a way to have a sense of resources and be able to understand when they do get stuck. Because what happens is when a teacher gets stuck, when they are progressing through the website and using your product, is if they get stuck, more teachers are becoming tech savvy, but they don't have the time to try to figure out what the issue is. And if they have a continuous sticking point, then they're going to stop using the product. That causes problems across the chain. Right? You're not having people renewing, then you're having teachers talk with each other, because teachers are the greatest advocates of your product. And so you need to make sure that they have a clear understanding of where they can go when they do need help. If you don't already have some kind of built-in support, you need to have support built in. Teachers need it. They have lots of questions, and very, very quickly they can just point blank get cranky, right? If I don't know where something is, I don't have the time or the energy to try to figure out where it is and how I can contact someone. I don't want to have to go from this page to the next page to the next page to the next page to the next page just to figure out how to do the help. Amazon does a really, really good job about doing that so that at some point you just get lost and you're over it. You just don't even want to contact them at some point. But for teachers, it doesn't have the same appeal. So it has to be clear. Is there some kind of an interactive chatbot that you can invest in? Something that, although maybe pricey, is really going to pay off in the long term. Then you also need to think about how you're going to offer your product. Every teacher is going to sign up for a free trial. That's just what they're going to do. They want to check out the product. They're not going to just buy the product because it looks nice. They want to buy their product when you have some kind of a free trial. So what does that look like? You should be doing some sort of A/B testing constantly, seeing about how much content is enough and how much content isn't enough, or have a really firm sticking point. If you want to open everything up, it needs to be limited to 5 lessons, or it has to have some kind of a stopping point for teachers because they will take advantage of it as much as possible because there really is just not an infinite budget at the classroom level. But the more teachers that you can get using it and sharing about it, the better that it is. Then when they do transition from the free trial to the paid version, what does that look like? Do they contact the sales rep and then go from there? Is there some kind of discount that's applied when they move from the free trial to the paid version? And then what extra features do they get? These are all really important for them, and making sure that it's clearly noted. You'll quickly know, and you'll have to do some A/B testing surrounding pricing. Does this price point work for this product? Can you increase the price point? And you just kind of have to have some flexibility and know that things have to be constantly changing. You have to be flexible. So if you do have a web page, maybe let's say that can only be accessed by developers, that's going to be problematic because there's going to be errors. It's going to take a really long turnaround point from point A to point B. So you just need to make sure that you have that available to you to be able to edit and to fix. When you visit a website or looking at your website itself, it should be really visual. You need to have visual representation. Teachers don't have time to read the fine print to see what it's about. You should have a table that lays down, this is what you get, this is what you get, and this is what you get. It just needs to be very clear to the point. I personally, even on anything, I don't want to be sitting there reading through everything. I don't have time to do that in a day-to-day life. And most importantly, teachers don't have time either. Their time is limited. As much as we like to say that we give them the gift of time, they don't have time. It's just the truth. And on their lunches, they end up doing extra things. So the quickest, most shortest, concise way that you can access that is important. The last piece that it really needs to be considered is your standards. Are they clearly noted somewhere? Most schools and districts just have to check the box that you have the standards there. If the standards are not listed, it makes it an extra hoop that teachers have to jump through to get it. So does it have to be the most customized standards? No, but they should have some way to really easily identify what those standards are and if this product meets those standards. Now, if it's something like a Nearpod where you're building out your lessons, there's not going to really be much for standards, maybe some ISTE standards, but really there's not going to be too much there. But if you're a math product, you better sure have those math standards listed, right? You need to make sure that that's there. Another thing to include are in your help center or just wherever is to have some trailer videos. A really underutilized place that a lot of edtech companies don't think about is YouTube, and we'll focus on YouTube in this next video. But you need to make sure that you have some short video clips. You need to be offering some sort of trainings throughout your webpage, and just something where you can make sure that you're building that capacity and you're building around the teachers and what the teachers need. If you don't offer any type of training, then can you do some kind of live webinar? Is there something pre-recorded that you can put out? It's just something mock that you're doing within your offices or within your small team itself. That's totally fine. Another point that I want to mention is a lot of times when I've been going to a lot of edtech companies' websites and you go to the website itself, if you have a screenshot of something on your webpage, you need to make sure that it's clear, like very, very clear, not blurred out, not that. Any of the image that you're using shouldn't be very pixelated. They should be very clean, and they should be able to have the high resolution for any device that you're working on. Another missed opportunity is making sure that your website can make an accommodation for mobile. A lot of teachers are looking at a website quick on their phones, on their lunch breaks. Maybe they're walking the hallways, whatever it is. They want to be able to see it on their devices. And if your web page is prohibitive to only working on a keyboarded type of device, it's going to be problematic for them to be able to do that. So you want to make sure that you have a web version and a, full laptop-y version, full web-based version. So a web-based and a mobile. So you want to make sure that you have those synonymous with one another. Think about when you're going to a website, even yourself, you're trying to order food and you go to the website and it's not available for the mobile. It's very frustrating because I'm not going to probably order food from that company if I can't find their menu because it's buried somewhere else and I'm trying to order from my phone. We have to make sure that things are easy to access at all points. So today we talked about building a brand story and making sure that that story can be told in 3 seconds. When I look at the web page, I know exactly what you stand for, I know what your product is, and I know what you offer. We also discussed having some sort of freemium option. What does that look like? It's really up to you and what your product is, but typically it's some kind of limited content. And then what happens when they go from free to paid? What are they being offered? Are they able to purchase from the website itself? Do they need to contact someone? We also talked about Help Center and having a Help Center accessible with blogs about implementation. It could be, your Help Center should have tools like implementation, how to use the lesson plans, whatever it is that your product is working on needs to be there. Making sure that your website and your product is BPA and COPA compliant is a really big deal. We also mentioned having the standards on your website visible. And the last thing, and another thing, is making sure that the website that you have can be edited by any member of your team if you don't have a dev team right on site. It's important because it crashes, there might be a glitch, there might be a spelling error, and you don't have 24, 48, 36, 92 hours to be able to have to wait for this. You need to have a quick turnaround. And then within that Help Center, we also talked about some kind of support. The last piece is having some sort of blogs regarding teacher feedback. Maybe it's how a teacher is using it. Maybe it's a case study on a school district itself. If you don't have something, you need to target those users that you see have high usage by looking at your heat map or just looking at the duration of time that they're spending. Contact them. Say, hey, we just really loved how much you've been using our product, and we would love to hear how you're using it in your classroom, and share it out. And then they're getting some sort of recognition, but it's also helping you build your brand. I hope that you got a lot from today's video. Please send me any feedback that you may have. Comment below if you have questions, and I look forward to speaking with you guys next time when we talk about the value of YouTube. Have a great day. Thank you so much for following along on this journey. My name is Leena Saleh, the Edtech Guru. Please remember to like, share, subscribe, and comment below. And until next time.